Please state your name for the court.
Dr. Jason Holmes.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a professor of psychology at the University of Cambridge.
Have you served as a consultant to any law enforcement agencies?
Yes, many times.
Have you ever testified on behalf of the defense in a criminal case?
Yes, I have, yeah.
How many cases dealing with confessions have you been involved with?
I've been requested to analyse a total of 13 separate interrogations leading to confessions.
How many times have you been qualified as an expert in the area of influence in police interrogation?
25 times, with 13 of those examining confessions.
Okay. Can you tell the court and the jury a little bit about your education and your background?
I received my bachelor's and master's degrees in sociology from Cambridge, then a PhD in the psychology department of Cambridge University, specialising in social psychology.
Do you have any experience or training in the area of influence, more specifically in the area of influence with regard to police questioning?
Yeah, it's been my field of interest for the last 10 years or so. I became interested in complex real-world systems of influence, that is, very complicated in influence environments and how those environments have massive effects on individuals. I then did a lot of work studying cult groups, that is to say groups that are very strongly organised, that exert enormous pressure on individuals and that can lead individuals to change the way in which they see the world. They may take part in activities that they otherwise would not ordinarily take part in. Then my interest in influence continued, and I began to become interested in the study of police interrogations. Police interrogation is the root of techniques that have to do with coercing confessions from individuals and generally manipulating them in extraordinary ways.
Has any of your work been published?
Yes, I've published one book on the subject, 15 more articles in scientific journals, and presented papers at many conferences over the years. I also shared in an Orwell Literary Prize.
What is it that you studied in relation to this case?
I talked with Jesse Miskelly regarding his confession on January the 16th and produced an 87-page transcript. I reviewed the police officer reports, I reviewed the actual transcript of the one part of Jesse's interrogation that was tape recorded. I studied and analysed their notes, studied and analysed their testimony.
Doctor, is it possible for police interrogation tactics to produce a false confession?
Yes, absolutely.
And are certain individuals more susceptible to coercive police tactics than others?
Anyone can produce a false confession, but research has shown that those lacking in self-esteem are more mentally disabled are more likely to produce false confessions under coercive conditions.
Can you tell the jury how you would analyse a confession?
Well, the first thing that's necessary is to try to get a clear picture of the history of the interrogation, of exactly what happened step by step. First, it becomes necessary to identify what actually happened in the interrogation and the order in which things happened, to then relate that to the statements that are undisputed. That is to say that the parts of the interrogation which are recorded, so that we relate the analysis to the history of the interrogation as it occurred in the unrecorded parts as reported by the police and the suspect. This is done to try and rebuild and get a picture on how the interrogation progressed from start to finish, as well as the changes that occurred over the course of the interrogation.
Doctor, have you reviewed Jesse Miskelly's case?
Yes, I have.
Have you read the transcripts and his statements to the police, both statements?
Yes, I did.
Have you seen the tapes of his confessions?
Yes, I did.
And you've heard the officers testify at a previous hearing?
That's correct.
And you've interviewed Jesse Miskelly regarding his interrogation and his confession?
That's correct.
Have you formed an opinion with regard to the specific issue of the voluntary nature of the defendant's statements to the police?
Yes, I have.
And what is that opinion?
That Jesse Miskelly was not coerced into confessing to this crime.
Meaning?
That Jesse Miskelly's confession was a valid confession.
No further questions. Thank you, Dr. Holmes.
Thank you.